Valerie Solanas, a unsung heroine. Why would we choose a woman who attempted murder and verbally announced her extreme hatred of the male gender to receive such a title? Solanas seemed to most as mentally ill and an extreme feminist. She was not a likable person in the media or the general public's eye, and for understandable reasons. This aside, it is undeniable she stood for what she believed, doing what she deemed necessary to get justice for herself. During her life, she faced mockery and ridicule for expressing her feminist thoughts. So, what makes Valerie Solanas a heroine? I think what matters more is the things that Valerie Solanas represents. She is female anger. She is the result of a woman done wrong by society and those around her. She valued her thoughts and opinions, something women are told to be silent on. This is the story of a woman who has been put down time and time again and has had enough.
Unsung heroines come in various forms. Sometimes women are misunderstood. Their hearts are in the right place, but their actions are harmful to those around them. One of those women was named Valerie Solanas. Solanas was a writer and political advocate who was known for her radical feminist practices, her murder attempt against Andy Warhol, and her magnum opus, The Scum Manifesto. Solanas was born April 9, 1936 in Ventnor, New Jersey. At school, she was known for writing insults for students on the playground in exchange for cash. She reports being sexually abused by both her father and grandfather as a child, and her parents divorced while she was still young. After the divorce, she developed a reputation as a truant and therefore had a rough relationship with her mother. During her childhood, she was sent to live with her grandparents, left them to live homeless, supported herself through prostitution, and had a child by a married sailor, neither of whom she would ever see again. In her adulthood, Solanas came out as a lesbian. She earned a psychology degree from the University of Maryland and then moved to Berkeley, where she would write the Scum Manifesto, a guide on how to overthrow the government, eliminate the money system, institute complete automation, and destroy the male sex. She eventually moved back to the East Coast, where she began a professional relationship with Andy Warhol. Solanas claimed that Warhol misplaced scripts that she would send him and believed that he was conspiring against her. On June 3, 1968, Solanas shot Warhol and an art critic named Mario Amaya and attempted to shoot Warhol's manager. She received various charges for this incident and pleaded guilty to reckless assault with intent to harm after she was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. After 3 years in a psychiatric hospital, she would continue to promote the Scum Manifesto until her death in 1988. She died of pneumonia while living in San Francisco.
Valerie Solanas officially released her Society for Cutting Up Men manifesto in 1968, but she didn't release this out of nowhere. She lived a very hard life with little luxury or happiness. She spoke about how both her father and her grandfather sexually abused her, thus leading her to a life of hating men. She also bore 2 children before the age of 15, neither of which she was able to keep. Solanas used prostitution as a means of supporting herself, so I can imagine that she has seen the worst sides of men, especially given her childhood experience. Valerie Solanas' pain and struggles went largely under the radar, but many women at the time, and still today, are dealing with the same issues that burden her throughout her life. Valerie's Scum Manifesto may seem extreme to some, but she was trying to address the power imbalance of the genders. Throughout all of history, women have been seen as disposable. In acts of war, women are taken, raped, and killed. They have to devour the children of their enemies, which is so traumatic. Even growing up in safe environments, women are still seemingly always subject to harassment and abuse from men. And so, extremism aside, many of the points brought up in Valerie's manifesto are shared concerns of women that still exist today.
In June, pop artist Andy Warhol was shot and critically wounded by a disgruntled would-be actress named Valerie Solanas.
Let me tell you about this woman named Valerie. She had a problem with the male anatomy. Wrote a manifesto that focused on one mentality. Women have to be the ones who keep the world from shattering. If men were to stay in power, it would be disastrous. They lack the mental capacity to understand what passion is. They're adamant. They only care about who they have to fix. The righteousness is incomplete. It's an accident. War, niceness, politeness, and dignity. Functionalism, animalism, motherhood, domesticity. Money, marriage, prostitution, government, and authority. Prejudice, mental illness, fatherhood, and conformity. These are some of the critiques written down by Solanas, which is why it's imperative that male sex be abolished. In order to accomplish this, a vanguard of women need to become an organization, a state of mind that be known as scum. SCUM, Society for Cutting Up Men. If scum ever strikes, it will be over the president's stupid, sickening face. If scum ever strikes, it be in the dark with a 6-inch blade.
Hi, I'm Kayla Gilmore, and I'll be doing a reenactment of Miss Solanas' interview on shooting Andy Warhol.
So, Valerie, why did this happen?
Because he's garbage.
What did he do to you?
I mean, the whole organization's a scum. He wanted to sit here and be controlling. He wanted to deal with scum, and he got scum.
You may die.
Good.
You mean that?
Yeah, I do.
Why do you hate him so much?
Because he's scum.
He gave you a part in one of his movies.
Big deal. I didn't ask for it. He asked me to do it.
What do you think is going to happen to you now?
I don't know and I don't care. I'm hoping I go to jail because there's nothing out here but garbage and assholes.
Miss Warhol. Mr. Warhol recovers. Miss Solanas is put in a mental hospital.
Valerie, why did this happen?
Because he's a
Well, let's clean it up a little. Could you talk to on the air? Why did this happen?
because he's a piece of garbage.
What did he do to you?
Well, let's say, my organization, Scum. He wanted more than anything to control Scum. Yeah, we wanted Scum, and we got it.
He may die.
Good.
You mean that?
Yeah, I do.
Why do you hate him so much?
Because he's him.
He gave you a part in one of his movies.
Big deal. I didn't ask for it. He asked me to do it.
What do you think's going to happen to you now?
I have no idea. I don't care. I'm looking forward to going to jail because there's nothing out here but garbage.